And welcome back. And we're moving into our final segment for today, and keeping on track with the New Year's resolutions. We're going to be talking about setting those fitness goals for 2017. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. We're just going to tell you how to do it right. So we have with us, representing K1 Fitness, we have two trainees and we have the founder himself. We have K1 Samuels and we have two of his trainees, Jasmini Bowen and Sahar Vasquez. Good morning and welcome, and thank you all for being here.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
No, I want to ask you though, K1, what is your idea of fitness?
My idea of fitness is a mental and also physical soundness of the body, and being able to cope with your environment without feeling exhausted, completely drained. Just being able to, withstand anything that comes in your direction. Have it be some type of physical challenge that may arise, or just some type of mental challenge as well.
And the reason I ask you that
so broadly.
And the reason I ask you is because I've been Facebook stalking him just a little bit. And one of the posts you talk about having muscle doesn't mean that you're necessarily fit. And that's a really big misconception. Is if I go to the gym, if I pump weights and I get a little biceps or some nice quads, then I'm fit. And that's not necessarily true.
Exactly.
So
I think a lot of people make that mistake, especially when it comes to choosing their trainers too.
It's true. It's very, very true.
Now let's step back for a bit and find out how you first got involved in this.
Well, actually, how I had started, I was actually into exercising and staying in shape since I was a very young kid. My parents...
So it was like yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. My parents enjoy singing about how, and my other family members, how I used to do push-ups at the age of 5, and how that carried on into my physical education standings in high school, in primary school, and whatever, and how that brought me to where I am now. But I think what had a lot to do with especially starting the program, was my situation with my family. A lot of my family members suffer with, heart-related conditions. An aunt who had passed away from type of cancer, and then an uncle who passed away a short time after that from lupus. So I was like, maybe, and at the time, their diet had a lot to do with the way that they were dealing with their illnesses. So I wanted to personally go out and try to make send a message out. I really make a stand for lifestyle change for not only the people who I surround myself with immediately, but other Belizeans as well, and as many as I can reach out to.
Now let's talk to Sahar and Jasmini about why you guys decided to get on board with K1 Fitness, and what your particular fitness goals were. Let's start with Jasmine.
Well, I'm fairly new to K1 Fitness. I'm about 6 weeks into it. I started off just with dieting, and I had lost some weight, and I really wanted to mostly tone up, and lose a little bit more body fat. So that's how I jumped on to K1 Fitness, and realized real quickly that losing weight wasn't, becoming fit. It was more of training myself, working out and gaining the muscle at the same time. So one of my short fitness goals is to simply do 20 push-ups, because I have no upper body strength. So when I started out, I couldn't do 1. So now I'm down to about 10. But still, still pushing it.
That's very impressive. I can't do 1
proper push-ups, right? Let's be honest.
So that's like just one of my short-term,
Oh, that's good. Yeah, and naturally, women don't necessarily have upper body strength. We're more stronger in our legs. Men are the opposite, right? So Sahar, what was your fitness goal?
Well, I came to him because I wanted to run a marathon, and I was training by myself, and it just wasn't working. Like, I wasn't finding the motivation in myself. So I went to K1 and I told him, I think I came in like last year September, and the marathon was in December. So I'm like, I want to run this marathon, and he's like, okay, great. And so I started training with him, and I was someone who he would give us like a circuit of exercises. And I would be like, I can't do this. Look at all the exercises you have here, planks, push-ups, like jumping jacks. And he really works with me on just doing it one by one, like one exercise at a time. And during my marathon, that was such a crucial point, going 1 mile at a time, because I was really struggling, mentally, you want to give up. But I just kept remembering what I did there and how he kind of taught me to endure through tough times and to just keep pushing. And one of the good things about K1 is he teaches you a lot about mental strength. Because physical strength is great, but mental strength is even more powerful, and it tends to, it lacks in a lot of people. So that's something I've learned with K1, and the main reason, again, was the marathon, but now that I've done that, it's just the overall fitness purpose and, the joy of being fit. And
Now, it's interesting because you are a runner. You actively engage in running as your exercise and hobby. And oftentimes once people have a routine going outside of the gym, they don't necessarily seek the gym as well. What pushed you to be able to do that? Beyond, the marathon obviously is about endurance, but you recognize obviously it wasn't about putting in the miles to be prepared for the marathon. There was something extra you needed.
Yeah, I needed to be able to be physically fit. I could run all I want to run, but if I didn't have the physical upper body strength, then I would start to lag behind, because 26 miles is a long way to go. So, and also just an overall idea of just having a fit body, being healthy, and going to the gym and having that kind of routine, you are more motivated to be healthy. So I'm not gonna go and eat 4 cupcakes on Monday just because I know I'm not gonna gain the weight. I'm
so
not
2
gonna,
at least, right?
Not even 2. But yeah, just the overall fitness and gaining upper body strength for me was another reason.
Okay, talk to us about the programs that you have created because everybody, like I always say, fitness is not one size fits all. Everybody has different body types. You have different types of curves, especially for women. I know that when I do exercise, I don't want to lose my butt. I don't want to lose my hips and the curves that I have. So how do you know how to specifically program for each different body types and what they want to achieve?
Well, what I normally start off by doing is just giving them some basic exercises to begin with, so that I can evaluate their fitness level from that point. And then from there, I would create a program around their needs, right? For Sahar, for example, she needed to condition her mind as well as her body to be able to trek that distance, right? So she would particularly have a program that would include more circuit training, right? For her to, like, it would be extremely monotonous. You get a set amount of exercises and you just have to go over it over and over and over. Because when you go on the road, you're going to see the same thing over and over and over, right? And then for other people who might just want to lose a lot of fat and quick, I would recommend or create a program for them that includes a lot of HIIT routines. And HIIT routines, high intensity interval training. And that's basically just going high impact, like the previous trainer had mentioned, high impact, low impact, high impact again, right? The combination of that causes your body to go burn a lot of fat and fast as well. And not only while you're working out, but after as well, in between workouts, right? It's called EPOC, this excess post-oxygen consumption, right? So that would work for them. You have a question? Sorry.
Yeah, I wanted to get in here because I think, Jasmini, you talked a little bit about having your own weight loss goals. How much weight have you lost so far, and what have you learned the most in this process? Since you first started on this journey. Was it a New Year's resolution? Can I ask that? Did it start that way?
No, it actually started after college. Just started a new job, and everyone around me, they were eating healthy, they were being fit, and I decided, well, let's not eat the spaghetti and drink the Coke at work. Let's, jump right into that. So that's where I started eating healthy. It's been about a year and 6 months almost. And I've lost about 45 to 50 pounds since I started.
That's quite a journey.
Yes.
Yeah. And what have you learned most? Because a lot of times people set out with fitness goals and they think, okay, I'm going to lose 20 pounds in the first 2 months or 3 months. And they don't realize how difficult it actually, you don't gain you don't gain it that quickly, you won't lose it that quickly.
And it's not real pounding.
Yeah. So what have you learned in that process?
Well, I originally didn't start out trying to lose weight. I was just trying to eat healthier. And then when the weight started coming off, it was motivation for me to continue. But I'd have to say consistency and dedication. I mean, it comes with diet and exercise. If you're not consistent with your diet, consistent with your exercise, it just doesn't work. I mean, I missed a couple days of K1 Fitness, and I felt like I had gone, taken 2 steps backwards versus the times that I was completely consistent 5 days a week. I saw that it was the effort and the results showed quicker that way, being consistent.
Now, Sahar, when it comes to your own fitness journey, what are some of the things that you want to consistently accomplish for your own self?
Well, I think one of the main things that I want now is a nice set of abs. So that's, I don't know what they're probably at 7.1 right now. So I want to get up to 8.5. But I also want to continue to be healthy because, as Jasmini said, like if I were to miss 2 days of workout, I feel really bad and I actually drop off track. Like I won't eat healthy, I'll just be eating junk food. So I want to continue to be healthy because when you're healthy, everything kind of clicks, and when you work out, after a workout, if I've had a long day at work and I go to work out, I feel so good after that. Like all my frustrations and stress have kind of been let out. So those are the 2 main goals, abs and keeping a healthy lifestyle mentally and physically. So, yes.
You completed the End of the World Marathon.
I did.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I think it's the hardest thing I've done so far in my very young life. It was.
I can imagine.
The first 13 miles I was okay, but after that, a lot of challenges began to arise, especially I began cramping, and so therefore I had to walk the last 13 miles. So it was very difficult because it was just me for about 7 miles, then somebody had joined me, but a lot of negative self-talk was coming. I was like, you can't do this, you should quit, you should stop. And it was really just remembering the exercises I did with K1 and how, man, I did like 20 exercises and I didn't stop. If I could do that, I could finish this marathon. But and it was just really hot and I felt like everything was against me, and I took about almost 7 hours to finish it. So when I finished it, I just felt I couldn't believe I did it. Like I'm still in a state of shock that I was able to complete that. And I feel like if I could do it, and I mean, sure, I didn't run the whole thing. Anyone can do it, even if it's just a half marathon. Just set your mind and work out and get to that goal. And when you finish it, you feel like, you're on top of the world. So.
Do you have another marathon in mind that you want to do?
I want to do the same one again, but I want to run the whole thing this time. So
it's keeping goals. And this is one of the things I'm hearing from both the girls and that you've mentioned just a bit. It's about setting goals for yourself, but very realistic ones.
Right.
Talk to us about that process. When somebody comes in who's, doesn't like the gym, doesn't like working out, but wants to change their body, right? Maybe you sense that they don't have enough motivation as yet, because that is the case. We get the idea in our head, but we don't know the amount of work it'll take. What do you do with them?
Well, honestly, what it begins with is reflection of the self. If you ever want to set a goal and if you want to achieve it, you need to reflect first, because any discussion about getting into shape and staying in shape is a discussion about what you've done up to this point and what you plan on doing in the future, right? So if you haven't noticed, a lot of times people come into the gym at the beginning of the year. And
this is the high season.
It's absolutely flooded, right? But then after like 2 weeks, the gym just goes back to normal. And the reason behind that is that deciding to do something and actually having a reason to do it are 2 very different things. So if I could give you an example. At the beginning of the year, I write down on a paper, say 10 resolutions, right? I want to lose 30 pounds, being one. Let's compare that to me going to the doctor and the doctor telling me that, okay, Mr. Samuels, you need to lose 30 pounds if you want to see your grandchildren. Right? So you have a reason. And when you go out to the gym now, knowing that your doctor told you that, you're going to be working really hard. You're trying not to miss a day. Right? So what you need to focus on first is creating reasons for actually going out and accomplishing your goals or to remember your dreams. And what you have to begin with is actually just asking yourself a couple questions. Like, for example, you look in the mirror and you ask yourself, okay, are you really happy with what you see in the mirror? You know, how does that image make you feel? It's another one. How do you feel about yourself generally? Do you feel strong? Do you feel energetic? Do you feel confident? Are you on the right track? And what are the pros, if any, and cons if you continue going in that direction that you're going? And then finally, if you want to actually have a brighter future for your own self, right? And as long as you've answered those questions, you should be able to realize your reasons very easily.
Yeah. Can I ask though, you have people who are watching the show right now and they're looking at this very fit couch and they're thinking, I don't have that kind of body. I can't be like Jasmini and Sahar and K1. How do you speak to those kind of people who know what their body has been like their entire life? They've probably been, you know, considered the chunky one in the family or whoever, and they want to change, but they feel that because of their record, their history, and the history within their own family, right? They're intimidated by their own limitations of their perspective of their body.
What the best thing to do for those people is to forget about all the noise that surrounds you, right? And go out and try to find, after you set your goal, that is, try to find somebody who's accomplished exactly what you have already accomplished, right? So that you know that it's possible, it's doable.
Yeah.
Right? You go ahead and you do that, you focus on that, and you remind yourself of that every single day. So after you've written down your reasons, like I said again, you could put it somewhere, you could put it into statements, right? If you had your reason was, okay, I want to lose a certain amount of fat.
Yeah.
You're actually making those little reasons, and you're going to make them into actual statements, which will mean you're transforming them into goals. Okay? So you tell yourself, lose fat, maybe gain 10 pounds of muscles, but instead you're transforming into a statement, and you're going to tell yourself that, okay, within the next, and this is setting a short-term goal, 8 to 12 weeks, I will lose a certain amount of fat. I will gain a certain amount of muscle. And so.
Yeah. Now, talk to us about the programs that you have established. It is in Belize City at Body 2000. Right. Is it a set fitness class that you have to attend?
No.
Okay.
I train all throughout the day.
Okay.
My first session is at 5:30. That's the earliest one. That's a group session. And that's pretty much just for, that's the one that incorporates a lot of different training styles.
Okay.
For a lot of different types of people, right?
Yeah.
I want to be able to have them be able to handle all of those different styles, but at the same time cater for everyone.
Yeah.
Right. So that's how that works. And then after that, I do private sessions as well. I do boot camp with Central Bank still. I don't even know how that picture got there. But I do boot camps. I do CrossFit oriented routines. I do HIIT training. I do strength training. And these guys are lucky that, you know, they fit into that group who have been able to experience what all those training styles are like.
Oh.
And I was going to ask you guys both, I know that, I don't know how often you exercise throughout the day, but you could probably share with us, but how do you know, or how have you tailored your exercise routine throughout the entire week? Because I know that if you do jumping jacks every single day of the week, you're not going to see any results. So tell us a little bit about your personal exercise routines.
Well, I do the 5:30 class in the morning just to meet my schedule. And his routine, he does several of the HIIT training as well as days that we do weights, upper body and lower body strength training. So I use his workout routine for the full 5 days, Monday to Friday.
Monday to Friday.
So you're pretty much covered.
Yeah. And
I do in the evenings, which is usually a private session, just the two of us. And it's the same thing that she's basically doing, like 2 days of circuit training, and then Wednesdays. Well, I don't usually go on Wednesdays, I usually run
on Wednesday.
So, and then Thursdays and Fridays, it's like going downstairs and doing weights and legs. So it kind of just all works out, and the running kind of goes in well with it in the middle of the week. So
now, K1, tell us, from all the clients you've had, what seems to be the core motivators for those who are successful on their fitness goals? What works for people?
Accomplishing your goals. That's what works.
So you
for
set
people.
those specific
you
goals.
Set those specific goals. You give yourself a specific time frame to accomplish those goals in, because that's what makes goals. Because there's something that you want to accomplish, and there's a set time that you need to accomplish it, and that's what makes it different from dreams.
Yeah.
Which is just you wishing to have.
Someday I'll have the body
exactly.
I want. Yeah.
So that's what drives people to continue, because accomplishing your goals builds optimism, and optimism makes you excited about the future. Which drives your hunger for more goal setting.
So we're going right back to SMART goals, essentially, right? Being very specific in what you want and putting all the other stuff in place to be able to get there.
Correct.
Now, what do you say to people who, and I think Jamie did say you guys look like a very fit bunch, but I love that you've spoken about your own individual processes. You see people watch someone and say, oh, it must have been easy for them to get there. They have no idea. They never do. And we can never let them know the whole story. But what do you say to someone who's sitting at home having doubts and still saying, you know, that sounds good. I'd love to look like her. I'd like to have the things, the strength that he talks about, but still can't get that last push that they need, the catalyst to get there and test it out. What would you say to them?
What they need to understand is that no two people will go on the same fitness journey.
Yeah.
And as much as you want to accomplish it, nobody will accomplish it for you. You need to get up and do it on your own for yourself.
Yeah.
Right? You can't look at somebody else's journey and then think about, they had it easy, like you said, and then look at somebody else who's probably had it even harder than that. You need to focus on what you need to do for your own self and begin to make an effort to actually get that done.
Yeah. And how do you coach them with eating? Because obviously you can spend 5 days in the gym, but if Sahar decides to have 3 cupcakes instead of 4, we don't know, right? But how do you talk to them about ensuring that what happens at home, we spoke about this a little bit earlier, but the balance of the rest and the food that you eat?
What I actually do is I just keep interacting with my trainees, like even after they leave.
Okay.
I keep them in a large amount of them in a group, and we're actually very active. We talk to each other all the time, and we share what we do throughout the day, what we eat, pretty much what goes on, throughout the day for each of us. And
that's a great thing about social media.
Yeah.
So it makes it very easy for me to keep track of what they do. Okay. And I would coach them, and they would ask me questions on, do you recommend this for lunch, or do you think this works? And I had this.
Reminders to drink water. But I don't like drinking water, and so he sets a reminder, and have you drinking your amount of water for today? So.
And like when I don't eat healthy, I feel guilty, and then like when I have to tell him, I'm like, well, today I had like a few chips, and then he'll look at me like, Sahar. So but it's more of a motivation to keep on to that routine of just being healthy. So.
And what's your what type of coach is K1? Let's ask him. Is he drill sergeant?
No.
You tell me.
No, you want them to tell
I want them to tell me. You can't tell me that. There's what you think you are, and there's what other people see you as. So let's start there.
Well, he's a really good coach, and he's the kind of coach that will push you to he has pushed me to my limit, to points where I felt like crying and just quitting. But that's what I wanted from him. And he's, and he's not gonna, so I'll say, well, if he says, let's do 10 push-ups, I'll say, let's do 5. Say, no, let's do 10. 10 is what we have to do. So he won't let me kind of take advantage of him or be stubborn. He's firm, and he gets the job done. And for someone like me, I like to argue. That's perfect. So I enjoy, we get along really well. So I think he's just the right amount of everything that should be in a coach. So I would give him 5 out of 5. Don't let it get to your head.
And for you?
I have to definitely say he's a motivating coach.
Okay.
When I started my journey, I didn't like working out. That was not in my mentality. Like, I couldn't do it. And coming to K1, he gave you that extra push. So to those sitting on the couch, try one day of K1. He will push you, and he will give you that motivation you need to continue. Yeah. Because several days I look at some of the exercises and I'm like, I can't do that, K1. Like, that's impossible. And he's like, try. He's like, just try 20 of them, and within minutes I'm done. And it's just that constant push, that constant motivation. So I'm definitely happy with his coaching.
And how do you see yourself as a coach?
Well, I just try to stay calm.
Yeah.
All the time. Even if I see them struggling or if I see them doing well, they could tell you that I'm not a coach who shouts.
Okay.
I don't believe in shouting at my clients. I would calmly tell you, okay, Sahar, you need to get moving, right? Or Jazz, come on, you can do it. Like, don't give up on these last few reps. You already did so many. Why are you to stop now? And stuff like that. Just calm words of motivation.
So people don't have to expect drill sergeant.
No.
And if they want drill sergeant from you, you'll rise to that occasion as well.
They can get drill sergeant.
So if people want the drill sergeant or the calm storm, where can they find you?
They can find me. I will be at Body 2000. There are business cards right at the front desk at Body 2000.
Yeah.
That's usually right behind the sign-in book that has a big K1 Fitness logo on it. You could take a business card. There's always a couple in there, and you could give me a call, or you could reach us on Instagram at k1fitness.bz. You could find us on Facebook at K1 Fitness. You could email us at k1fitness.bz@gmail.com, or you could give us a call at 615-1490.
I thought you were going to say K1 and the phone number too. But thank you so much for coming in. I think, definitely having the personal experience of these ladies and understanding how you work to be able to provide a service for people to get healthier, but also fit in the right manner, I guess we could say, right? So thank you, ladies. Thank you, K1. Remember, you can find him on Facebook, on Instagram. You can find him at Body 2000, and be sure to drop in on his class. His class is at 5:30 in the morning, right?
Sure.
Or you can set up your own personal training, right? No excuses for meeting those New Year's resolutions. Sure. We're going to go ahead now and take a break, and when we come back, we'll have our wrap up those dates.